Hi there, everybody. Today we're going to be dealing with a well-familiar story, Daniel in the lion's den. But hopefully a little bit of a wrinkle, because the miracle that first occurred anyway, wasn't the mouths of the lions being shut, but it was something slightly different, and we'll see today. Yes, we're in Daniel 6, and we're going to start off in verse 14. And the king, when he heard these words, was greatly displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he laboured till the going down of the sun to deliver Daniel. So the king knows he's been duped by all the leaders who are jealous of Daniel, and so that's why he's displeased with himself. Then the men approached the king, and said to the king, "Know, O king, that it is law of the Medes and the Persians that no decree or statute which the king has established may be changed." So he's tried his best, Darius, but he knows he can't get out of it now. So the king gave the command, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. But the king spoke, saying to Daniel, "Your God, whom you serve continually, he will deliver you." Then a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring and with the signets of his lords, that the purposes concerning Daniel might not be changed. Now the king went to the palace, and he spent the night, he likes Daniel, fasting, and no musicians were brought to him. Also, sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and he went in haste. It actually says in another translation, he ran. That's pretty amazing. To the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried out with a lamenting voice to Daniel. The king spoke, saying to Daniel, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" Then Daniel said to the king, this is pretty amazing. He spent the whole night in the cold, mangy lions around him. And Daniel said to the king, "O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before him. And also, O king, I have done nothing wrong before you." So he's saying that he's been innocent before God, but also because he's been innocent before the king. In other words, he's done nothing wrong to the king either. Interesting distinction, isn't it? And the king was exceedingly grateful for him and commanded that he should be brought up out of the den. Now, later, this is interesting. This is in verse 24. Later, see what happens. The king's pretty ticked off. He's been sucked in, right? He's been duped. And the king gave the command, and they brought those men who had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions. Them, their children, and their wives, and the lions overpowered them. Listen to this. The lions overpowered them and broke all of their bones in pieces before they even came to the bottom of the den. That's crazy. Those lions were pretty ticked off. Frustrated lions. They basically ripped them apart before they even came down to the bottom of the den. That's amazing. Anyway, so that's the story. But the thing that really stands out to me, what's kind of jumped out to me this time, was, well, first of all, Daniel's attitude in the whole thing, which was pretty amazing. In verse 16 it says, "So the king gave the command, and they," in other words, the ones that had accused Daniel, brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now think about this for a second. Daniel was supposed to be in his mid-80s at this stage. He's just been thrown. So this is not like how we expect at the zoo or anything. This is not a nice little kind of place where you just basically tip Daniel over the fence. This is a pit which they've dug right down. They didn't have the same sort of, fences and safeguards and whatever else that we do in modern zoos. This was a pit that's dug deep down, and these were pretty hungry lions. So there would have been stones and there would have been places and things down there. So this is a miracle, a total miracle. Can you imagine a normal mid-80s person being chucked into a pit? And remember that later they don't even get to the bottom of the pit before they're broken up and devoured by the lions. But Daniel, he's cast into the pit. He's in the bottom of the pit. So they've thrown him into the bottom of this pit. This would have been a good, 5-meter drop? Whatever. And who knows what was at the bottom apart from the lions. So it's pretty amazing that he's had this soft landing. So a mid-80s guy thrown into a stony hard pit, and he hasn't a scratch on him because it says that there was no marks on him whenever he comes out of the den, whenever the king lets him out. It's fascinating, I think. And then I think the other thing is to realize how the king realizes that Daniel's completely in the right and a great guy, and he tries to get him out of it, but then he can't. And he's really ticked off at the ones who are coming against Daniel, are reminding the king that he must do according to the law that he's put in place. So he's listing up a list of things to get at them. What I find it really interesting here is verse 21. The reason why God shut the mouth of the lions is not because Daniel is innocent of any crime. It's because Daniel is innocent in God's eyes. Isn't that really interesting? Daniel said to the king, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angels and shut the lion's mouth so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before him." Fascinating, isn't it? That's really interesting. And also, O king, by the way, I've done nothing wrong to you either. So that's pretty amazing. Anyway, I thought those things were pretty interesting, particularly the bit about Daniel. Thank you. Have a great day.